Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. First of all, I'd like to thank all those subscribers out there that are following me along. It's really appreciated, and of course it helps us along the track of the YouTube trail. So I'm new to all this, so the subscribers are really helping, and your likes, of course. But this brings us to my next subject. My wife has always told me to get a haircut and get a real job. I've got the haircut, and it's a little bit different to what it was. It's fairly short for me, but the job, well, when you get to my age, a real job sort of doesn't exist. So we sort of play around with old radios and record players and all sorts of things to fill in our time. So that's the pretend job at the moment. So yeah, we got the haircut, but I don't think the real job's going to happen. But anyway, this video is about the Kriesler 1120 I've been working on. Boy, the last video was just too long. It went for an hour, 20 minutes or something, and I'm not going to do that with this one. We'll cut some boring bits and pieces out of it and just keep us in the loop with the important stuff. It's more or less going back to almost a full restoration, but we're cutting a few of the restorations for the moment. I've got a huge amount of work here in the workshop. I don't know how many items there'd be here to resurrect and get going, repair, not necessarily restore to new. So we're going to follow that track for a while, sort of new for 23, and hopefully it brings a little bit more interest to the channel. It's a variety of things, from pinball machines to transistor radios to record players. There's everything you can imagine that I repair. So we'll cruise along, do some repairs, share you guys. There's a couple of interesting turntable projects coming up. Technics SP10, which you guys would know, top of the line turntables, and we have a few to get going, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them, probably sell them, but I'd like to share the repairs, the recapping, and that with you. The power supplies, unfortunately, on those are done, so we'll skip that bit, but I'll also show you what's in the supplies and what I've changed so that you would know what you're getting into if you buy a unit that hasn't been recapped. The circuit boards inside those SP10s have to be recapped. No questions asked. Okay, well, enough of the chit-chat. This leads me into terrible problems. I'm always rattling on. Okay, let's have a look at the 1120, and we were up to doing replacing the grommets in the tuning gang mounting. So let's get back into that and see what else has got to be done. Bit of case polishing, things like this. Okay, let's have a look. Right, well, we've cleaned him up a little bit. Can't really get the black surface spots off it. It seems to have eaten into the metal, but it's all nice and clean. It's nice and shiny. yeah, it doesn't look as good as what I would really like, but yeah. Anyway, next port of call is the rubbers underneath the tuning gang. They're rock hard and they've been squashed up to almost nothing. There's one at the back, one up here, and one down here. So next job is to replace those. Okay, I've removed and cleaned around where the old grommets were, all nicely cleaned up, ready for the new ones. Haven't got any new ones, so I've got to make a trip to my favourite store, which is the Big Green Hammer. We all know what that is. And I thought, well, while I'm waiting for that, slip a little bit of oil on the tuning shaft. I'll go and clean him up a little bit. I'll just buff that with a wheel just to bring off a little bit of the tarnish. These fellas are quite good. Probably doesn't need any oil. I mean, they're wooden. I've given them a clean, so no more to do on that. The furry finish actually come up quite well, so I'm just leaving that as is. It's not lifting anywhere, so just going to leave that. And the dial glass we will clean up. So I'll start with this, get him mounted on here, and then we'll do the dial glass. And by that time, I'll be back from the hardware and we'll slip the grommets in. The grommets have to go in there, which is fine, but we might have trouble with the size of the spacer inside the grommet. So I've got to go a fairly small hole grommet. We'll see how that works with Bunnings as well. So they may not have what I'm after. Another job that's got to be done, new wires on the dial lights. That this one here is, yeah, as you saw earlier in the video, breaking up, so I'll replace those as well. So there's a few little things here to do before we're sort of ready for an RF alignment or anything yet. So we'll get all that done. Okay, I've got our white wire done. Looks good. Looks a lot better than what it did. Now, the audio transformer, these leads are very fragile. So I don't want to put any permanent sort of glue on there, but I'm thinking I might put some hot glue just over the ends to keep them in place and probably Probably the same with these. Just put a dab just on the ends so that they don't move around. I don't want these to break off. And then seeing this as loose, maybe spear a little wedge or something in either side, maybe a toothpick or something like that, just to hold the whole thing reasonably good. Don't know what's happened actually. There's that little fella's bent up, and yeah, I don't know whether he's had a bit of trauma or not. But anyway, we'll throw a bit of hot glue on this and see what we can organise to pin this fella in position. Well, as you can see, while I'm waiting for the hot glue gun, I'm just cleaning the dial glass up with wet wipes. They're alcohol free, so shouldn't affect too much, but you've got to be so careful with dial glasses. You put it on the back and all of a sudden your numbers and your lettering start floating away. It's not real good. Certainly coming up quite nice. I've had a lot of success with these wipes with dial glasses. They do a very, very nice job. They're very good on delicate stuff. You still don't take them for granted when it comes to dial glasses. And if you're doing this, please be careful, because the edge of that glass will cut very easily. Okay, we'll get a nice clean piece of rag and wiping down. Okay, well, here he is. Been to Bunnings and got myself some grommets. Unfortunately, with these ones, the hole's a little bit too big, but we'll work out what sort of space is going to go in the centre of these. It's only a small spacer to put in to stop squashing the grommet into oblivion. So, yeah, all this is loose. Grommets have got to go in here, cleaned up all the old rubbish. So let's get on with that. Okay, found some little spacers. Just, I don't know what they're out of. I've kept them, but they're a pretty good fit inside the grommet. So, going to use those. And while we're doing this, I would also like to thank one of my subscribers, Sinewave, for alerting me about the art of flocking. Yes, that's flocking, I said. And it's that furry stuff you put on behind a radio dial or in a jewellery box or all sorts of things like that. Very interesting. I've had a look on various parts of YouTube. What an interesting subject it is, and I wasn't aware of how that was done. I don't know how I've got to a ripe old age of won't talk about it, but yeah, it's a very interesting hobby, very interesting way to put a nice furry edge, or you can also get a suede type finish on it. And yeah, very interesting, guys. So if you want to learn more about it, have a look on YouTube and just do a search for flocking, Flocking. So yeah, thanks again, Steinway, for your comments on there. You've certainly put me on the right track with something I knew nothing about. So thanks heaps for that. Okay, I'll stop nattering and we'll get these spaces in. Now this brings me to the next part of the video, the part that I'm not real keen on. We've got to fix this up a little bit. Actually, in spite of its shape at the moment, it works quite well. It sounds quite nice, but we've got to fix him up. So I'm just going to give him a very light clean and work out what I'm going to do, and then I'll record some of this. And just not real sure. I don't know what to put across there. Some people have used toweling like chucks or something like that. Other people use tea bags to build this up. But I don't know whether this has gone a little bit too far. But anyway, we'll have a think about this, and yeah, we'll be back shortly. Well, an attempt at repairing a speaker. Now, for the cone, I've found a coffee filter. Doesn't seem like bad material, so we might put a bit of that over the cone on the front. But for the moment, I want to patch up the brake at the back of it. Now, what I've got is this stuff. We're just going to put a little bit on the back there and then wait till it sets, so then I can work on the front. Yeah, what we want to do here is just push that down a little bit. Just got to get this in the right position, because I have a little spacer underneath it. So if I don't think you guys can see that. Your comments are welcome, but I hope they're nice ones. Put a little dab there, little dab there, and just push him together at the end. I think it'll do the job once it dries. This is intense, guys. I'm holding my breath while I'm doing this. Yeah, that looks okay. I think that'll hold that split, and then we've got a little bit of outside stuff with the coffee filter to put on. So I'll just leave that as is. Unfortunately, it wants to curl up right at the end. I'd like it down like that. But it's looking good. I won't put me little spacer in there. It doesn't need it. It's actually looking good. It's come right back down along that split. There's a small amount there that I'll have to touch up later, but this will hold it in position for the time being. Bit ratty, I know, But normally I don't fix speakers, I throw them out. But it's it's a nice feeling to resurrect something like this. Okay, well, we'll leave him to dry, and we'll come back to him and see how he's going. Well, this is going to be interesting. This is. I've patched up a few of the other little holes around the place before I did this. It's all looking quite good. That area there, I think he'll come up okay. There were some little holes and cracks, so I've just put some of the liquid electrical tape across, and in a few hours I'll cut out a piece and try and get it in here somehow. I don't quite know how we're going to do this, but I think we can. I think we can get this working, certainly good enough for the fidelity of this radio. I'm pretty sure this because this speaker did sound quite good, irrespective of how it looked. Okay, we'll give it a break for a while and we'll come back later. Right, it's time to mount my speaker. Now, the speaker, a pretty rough job, guys. Please don't judge me on the speaker. It didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. It was awful. But anyway, there it is. Yes, it's been painted with the wrong paint and everything. It's been patched with a coffee filter paper, actually. And believe it or not, it sounds fantastic. I can't understand why this old girl still works, but the next job, mount the transformer on here, mount this in, and get the front panel on. And, by the way, flocking. Very nice. If I'd have known about this, I would have perhaps redone this one, although she's not too bad, but the last couple have been, very ordinary. Okay. Okay, my audio's back. Right, now, what I'm doing, actually I had it turned off. You guys don't want to hear everything that I was doing. Gang fully closed, and our little screw very, very close to the top center. Actual drum is not quite touching the front of the radio. So he moves nicely. Doesn't quite touch it. And our pulley here is in line with the outside of, or the inside rather, of the drum here. So yes, that will work fine. Mind you, we've still got this thing to string up, so yeah. And as we know, dial strings aren't the straightforward little things we think they are. Okay, I shall get the dial glass and our lamps and put this assembly together. Okay, I've just put a bit of masking tape up to hold the dial glass up, otherwise it wants to slip off all the time. The needle on this actually goes under the glass, not on top. And I need some spacing here and rubber along the sides. So what I've done is I've stripped out some mic cable. It's nice and flexible. I'll split it down the center, cut it to suit, and put it over the edge. Hopefully this works okay. So I cut it. Oh, I have done this before and it's been fine. Cut it the same length. Cut two of those. Now I'll split. Like so. This should work okay. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing here. My hands are in the road a bit there. Just split him down the center. Now we'll put him back here. And we'll go over, try and get him over the glass and behind the panel, like so. I think this should work okay. Our lamp faces down. There we go. He's on nice and tight. Glass is protected. Our pointer still runs up under there because it's held here by this, and the glass actually sits up from the track where the pointer runs. Throw this fella on. Like so. You don't see these. They're past the end of where the radio case is, so you don't see any of these. That's, yeah, looks odd, but that's on nice and tight. Pointer still runs nicely under there. So we're right. looks fairly good. We also have a grommet here to replace for the new power cord when it goes. I have ordered a cloth 3-core power cord. Haven't got it yet. So, yeah, this project may finish up without the correct power cord on it, but it won't be here for another few days, and I'd like to finish this project up. So, see if she still goes okay. Everything should be right. So we'll turn our dim bulb on, and we have on here 241. I'll actually put that at 230. Seeing our suppliers, there we go, 230. Okay, so dim bulb just in case anything goes wrong. And I forgot to put the shield on the valve. Wait, on the 6B8. I'll put that on because otherwise we get oscillating noises. And, yeah. Right. Okay. It's on dim. Let's turn him on. Things look normal. She should be coming up any second. And there she comes. And what interference have we got here? We've got lots of interference with things in this shop. Now, we've also got to clean the contacts of our band select. Let's try and get a little bit better aerial. There she goes. And we better get that guy off there and not infringe any copyrights. All working, all okay. So I'll tip him upside down, clean the contacts on the band select switch now, and then we're ready to do some alignment on it. First of all, this thing. I hate dial strings. But anyway, it's the next project, so let's get on with it.
We've seen it all, from black and white TVs and ringer washing machines to the latest Ultra HD washers, supplying all ages and sure to find the right.
At its best. You'll be blown away with the air conditioning service at your local.
Right, now, let's... We're working well on AM. Let's try and see if we've got anything on. We've got some various time signals. Anyway, all is working, especially on medium wave. And we won't put any more of that on. Okay, dial lamps, they're in, all working. Next thing, restring. Oh, I'm going to go and have some lunch first, and probably a scotch to settle me nerves while I do this dial cord. I hate the damn things, but anyway, got to be done. The dreaded dial string. Now, when I took this off, it had 2 strings on it. One string for the pointer, and the other string to move the tuning gang by itself. 2 separate strings, but I don't know. Looking at everything on the manuals and everything, there seems to be only one. So it did have 2 springs, which, yeah, I'm a little bit confused about, but doesn't take much to confuse an old lad like me. Okay, we're still going with this dial cord. So we come down here. We go around our tuning shaft twice. Well, this is what I can make out anyway. Twice. We come up here. We go across here. We come down here. Down this side. We go in here. Now I'll get this fairly tight. And our spring then goes up into a little slot on the disc. If I can get my pliers to hold it, which is up in there. There. Oh God, is this going to work? This keeps tracking to the outside. Why? If I push him in, he might be right once I do one run. Still at the end. Okay, so we'll go back and try that again. And we'll have to loosen him off. Go back a bit more. Right. That's him. End of the shaft. We could even go a little bit further actually. Just going to take him a little bit more. Right. And touching there. He still could go a bit more, couldn't he? Yeah. What can you guys see in the camera? Let's give you a little bit better view of the front. I think this could go down a little bit further towards 3 o'clock there. So we'll just take him back up here. That's fully meshed, gang. And we'll take him a little bit further. Now, that's better. I'm not happy. Got to go a little bit further. Gang fully meshed. And we set our pointer on that point there. So you'll get a bit of a camera angle happening there, but that's where I'm setting it, right there. So we'll do that now. What come off it was a little bit of old tape, which I think I'll put on the new string. This could be a trick here. What I'll do is put this in position, mark the string where he goes, and I think we'll have to take the string off to do... No, we won't have to take him off. We'll just take him back up here where the string is a lot looser and we can get at it. I did want to use this old piece of tape because there's nothing wrong with it. It covers the string nicely and protects it when we clamp the needle to it. And clamp in a little bit. Take him up here. Clamp him. There. And we might even put a spot of super glue on to hold him there. Okay. Now our set pointer is ever so slightly out. So yeah, here we go. We'll have to just adjust this fellow just a little bit. We meshed. Bring that back to set pointer. We're all going nicely. And right up to set pointer, which is right at the end. The next port of call is set up the generator and do some alignment. So here we go. We will grab some gear and be back. Right, guys. The alignment. I've hooked up the Jenny. Now, for those of you, I don't know whether I can show you my generator in case you've been wondering what I'm using here. I'll try and get a couple of things out of the road here. I may not have enough lead on the camera, but anyway. There it is. It's a Marconi 2955. So there's the unit. Sorry, I can't get the camera any closer than this, but that's what I'm using. Everything's preset, so I just put in whatever preset I want. At the moment, we've put in 600 kilohertz, 30% modulation at 1 kilohertz. And I'll bring the camera back down here. Right. Now, what I've noticed here, turn him up, we've got a signal there, and 600. Doesn't get much closer than that. That's spot on. So we won't have to do too much with that one. That's right on 600. So I've got no alignment details on this old girl. We'll up there to about 200 microvolts to start with, and we're looking at 1500. So let's see. I'll get this light out of the road here. Okay. Let's see. We're looking at 15. And I can't hear anything. Oh, okay. There we are. So we're 1550 actually. There's 16 and we're at 1550. So we'll have to take this fella back a bit so I can see him at 15. Now, oscillator. I've got a mud map on this thing. This is about as close to a dodgy alignment as what you'd get. So trimmer oscillator for the broadcast band, the antenna trimmer at 1400. I'm using 15 at the moment. is that fella. So this is the front of the radio, so it's the back trimmer on this side. It will be this one. Okay, we're looking at aligning the, pretty sure it's the back one, front of the radio, antenna trimmer, which, no, broadcast oscillator, sorry guys, up the front here. Broadcast oscillator is this fella. And of course my alignment tool doesn't fit there. Hang on. And there he is. Right. So he's at 15. We'll go back to 600 again. And we'll see where he lines up. And he's still right on 600. So that's good. They're aligned. So now, antenna. The antenna coil. We'll go to 600 that we're on, and we'll peak the antenna. Okay, now we're at 600. We'll align our antenna coil, and he's way down inside there. We need to get a torch so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. Oh dear. He's actually broken off. Okay. We might be able to do this underneath. No, we can't adjust him. He's broken. We might have to leave this fellow. Okay. We're feeding a signal in there at 1500. Gonna lower our input till we can adjust hearing and adjust our trimmer. I'm not using a meter for this. This is just a quick and easy one by ear. There we go. All done. I'm not yet doing the shortwave because I have no information on alignment procedure with the shortwave. So not looking into that. The AM is working perfectly. That's on 1500, working perfectly. And
On 500 machines, if they election, political donations from clubs and advertising in front of venues.
And we certainly have it working nicely. Okay, we might put him outside and test him with a loop antenna so I can get some stations and see what we can get out of him. Alrighty, there she is, all done. And well, it's a rough alignment, but as I said, this video's got to be wrapped up. We've got a long way to go, a lot of things. Alignment by ear, which I've done lots and lots and lots of, and they're within a 15th of being right. So, yeah, we're not using the meter on this one. The second camera isn't set up. There's a lot of things here. So, anyway, that's working nicely. We'll put him outside shortly, give him a run. The case is next, so the task of polishing. Okay, we'll get into that one. Well, this is the next part of the process, and I'm just about there. She's starting to look a little bit nicer than what it was. There we go. What do we reckon? I reckon she's pretty good. Now, got to do something with these. So that's I'll just clean the bottom up, polish the bottom. Got all the paint spots off it. Come up rather nice actually. It's a very nice case. Inside, yeah, well, it's inside. So we've got to cut a piece of grill cloth for there and up here. We'll spray some contact glue and put it on. So masking up the inside of the radio so there's only that area exposed when we do it. And yeah, then we're pretty close to being finished the case. But anyway, that one's good enough. So now it's on with the show with this fella, which is quite good to start with. So that's what we're doing. Good old Brasso and my wife's makeup remover, which Woolly Special. There you go. You can't beat them. They're just unreal for this sort of gear. Not that I wear makeup when I'm doing that, but yeah, it's really good for polishing. I find polishing Bakelite. I don't know why. It just works. So anyway, we'll keep polishing here and we'll come back when she's all finished and we'll attempt to fix the front of the grill. And this is all we do with the Brasso. Yeah, just rub him on and it just does a fantastic job. I love it. And as you can see, it takes a bit of the polish. It's all we're doing is a cutback polish. But I don't know. It just seems to work well with Bakelite. I've tried car polishes, and they just don't seem to cut as nicely as what Brasso does. Maybe they're too aggressive. Okay, we'll pause and come back soon. Right, guys, that looks pretty good. That's the sort of shine that you like to see with Bakelite. It's very nice. Okay, let's try and fix the next bit, which is this. So let's go and find the bits and pieces and try and get something together here. Right. Well, this is what we had. Oh, I better put my microphone on. Hang on. There, mic's back. Now we're full missing there. Now, obviously, that's probably a full one. And yes, we've got one there, which is a full one, I think. Yeah, that looks like that would go together there. We'll super glue these. And this one, oh, gee, yes, he will go together like so. So unfortunately, we're going to be one missing. We'll do the three towards the centre. Yeah, it's a real shame. I'll have a look and see what I can do to try and match one of these things, but yeah, pretty hard. It's probably better off just leaving it out rather than trying to patch it up and making it look a little bit odd. It's not a full restore, but yeah, it's pretty close to it. Okay, we'll glue these up and try and get them in, and then we'll investigate the fourth one to see what we can do. Right, now I've glued those together with super glue, and yeah, I think they'll come up okay. I've just checked my mailbox and I've got this from Carl. Thank you, Carl. Your service is incredible. This thing's only been ordered, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. So I have my cord, and he's also I've also ordered heaps of felts to put behind the knobs. Once again, I'll put a link to Carl's website on eBay when I'm finished this, and it's second to none for capacitors, all sorts of vintage stuff. Yeah, he will help you out no end. But anyway, I thought we'd go ahead, tip this old girl over, and put this in while we're waiting for some glue to dry. Now, one thing that certainly has to go is the grommet, where she comes out the back. First of all, I will take this fella off. We won't be needing him anymore. And now we'll do this grommet. This is so hard. This grommet, it's just going to fall to pieces, as you can see. There we go. Ready for a new grommet. As I said earlier, I must get myself more grommets. A box full or something. This one's from Bunnings. Lots of times the size is just too big for what you want on the inside, but that works fine. This will make the old girl a little bit safer with an earth wire on him. So what I'm going to do is move this fella to the centre. It's not earthed or anything. It is just a tag strip held on there. So I'm going to move this wire to the centre and then connect the neutral so that we can easily span both of them. I'll put this fella on first. Try and always switch the active. Just a little bit of precaution. Right, we have him on. Now what I've done is put a cable tie just there that stops him pulling out at all. One there to the very heavy 5-volt winding just to keep him from twisting or turning or anything. It can't move. And a little one up here that ties the two wires together from the primary to the transformer and the neutral coming in. Active to the pot, out of the pot to the transformer. So all is good. Of course, always put on dim bulb after you've done something like this, just to make sure there's no hassles. Now, what I do is I normally take the earth wire off these because we're earthed via this, and the earth wire is very seldom needed. But I have learnt that later on in fixing these, I need an earth wire for my loop aerial. So I now leave the wire on there, just touch him up. Put a bit of heat shrink. Sorry, you can't see that. There you go. I'll put a bit of heat shrink over the braid just to make it a bit nicer where it comes out. And for that reason of the loop, I will be leaving this on here. But if you're just using a long wire, really, it's sort of not necessary because the radio is already earthed. But I don't know. Some people like leaving them on. Yeah, it's personal opinion. Okay, I'll tidy this up, and then the radio is pretty well finished. We'll put him on the dim bulb, make sure everything is still operational, and we'll get back onto the case. Right, guys, up to the next bit. Now, better show you the repair of the grill. That's it. Didn't spend a hell of a lot of time on this. These, there's that one and that one that were broken, so I've super glued them back together and got them into place. This fella here has a little bit of dowel and reinforced with a little bit of resin in him and fitted into place. Sort of wished I'd have maybe put two of them together to make it a little bit wider, that fella, but it's going to look okay. He's painted brown, gloss brown, the same as the rest of the radio. So, from a distance, he'll look fairly good. So the shine will probably taper off after a while anyway. But yeah, now it's time to put the cloth in. Now, what I'm using, poor man's grill cloth here. I don't know whether it was, it looked to be originally a reddish colour, but I found pictures and there's all sorts of colours, so I can't quite pinpoint what it was originally. I'm using what I did in the other one, which is a very light tea towel, bit of tea towel material. I'll spray inside the cabinet, mount it, and I'm certain that will look quite nice. The pattern is very similar to the original, whatever the original may have been. So I've got two pieces of that, and we'll put one up the back here and one here. So I'll mask him up and we'll put some very light spray glue in there and glue that fella in. He's looking very nice. Well, good enough for the bush anyway. Now, we've got a bit of glue on there, so I won't be putting that piece down again. Well, everyone, the final moments. I will be very pleased to see this one finished up. I'm going to put him back in his cabinet. So, here we go. 2 screws at the front, 1 at the back. I'll tip him up and drop him, well, not drop him in, we'll put him in nice and gently. He's going in. And there we go. Right, here's my trusty split screwdriver to hold these. These are, yeah, what a great thing. And we'll screw him up. I'd say it's time to put we'll put the back on, eh? Bring this fella up here. Now, that fella, Ariel and Earth. So the Ariel's on this side. Looks like he comes out along here somewhere. Not too tight. Now, our knobs. Give you guys a look at that, because I've got some fancy new felts from Carl. Must thank Carl for these. Look at that. Now I'm going to be one knob short on this fella, so we'll leave the tone control. That's one of these little flat fellas. I haven't rounded up any yet, but no doubt down the track we'll find something. I'll find something else that will fit okay, but for the moment I will probably leave the tone control, the tone pot without a knob. So that fella, because we want the tuning, we want the band switch, and we certainly want the volume. So I haven't got a little knob for there yet. So sorry guys, we can't quite make it 100%, but it will be enough to finish the series. Have a nice brown cord on him, 3-core. Earth is on him, and there she is. This is looking pretty nice. I'll get back there. Oh, give you a look at that. Isn't that a shame? But anyway, it's one of those things. Okay, plugging me my dim bulb just to make certain of everything. He's on, and turn him on. Light goes dim, light goes out, and it's looking nice. Don't know where the best spot is to give you a bit of a look at him. And we don't want to play too much of any upsetting stuff for YouTube. And as you can see, he's going nicely. We're going to take him outside shortly, set him up outside with the loop antenna so that we can get a little bit nicer feel of how he picks up. Okay, we'll be back very shortly. Something I was going to mention. You remember this? This is the aerial wire that was on it, and I thought, this is junk aerial wire, just been thrown in. I'll tell you what, that was wrapped on this. And I wouldn't mind printing up another one of these. It's a little bit of stiff cardboard, actually aerial wire, 20 feet of aerial wire. And that is the original wire that was on this. Now, I don't know how old this is. It's in feet, so in Australia, that's a fair while ago, pre-metric, and yeah, been a while since we've been able to buy aerial wire. So a very, very interesting find that. I was just about to throw it in the bin, and there he is. So I'll straighten him out, and we might make up another one of these if we can somehow. Might make up just a little cotton reel assembly or something there to wind the aerial on, because I'd like this to stay with the radio. So, yep. So there she is, going nicely. We'll take him outside, test a little bit out, see how he's going, and we'll call this job complete.
They use a lot of fuel, but at least that way you can get a feel for it.
High Tide, weekends from 4 a.m. on the Super Radio Network.
Purchase a new Volvo XC60 before 30th of March and receive complimentary scheduled servicing for 5 years or 75,000 kilometers, whichever occurs first. Exclude XC60 recharge.
Coolstream is now online at coolstreamradio.com. Now you can hear all your favourites anywhere, anytime.
Well, guys, there she is, working very, very nicely. As I said, I showed you, there's my loop antenna, just sitting out beside the workshop, and there's lots of other things around the workshop there. So, there it is, the finale, the one with the missing knob, and really the front panel doesn't look too bad. So, Matt and Alison, thank you very much for this radio. It's come up very nice. And if you'd like in your comments, if we could find out more history, I believe your grandparents owned this, and I'd really like to know a little, well, I'm sure the viewers would like to know a little bit of the story as well, especially around the Bathurst area. So if you could, share in the comments, it'd be muchly appreciated. Anyway, the old girl lives again. A very, very nice old Kriesler back in operation. So, until next time, guys, I will sign off shortly, and this is the end of this particular radio, and I'll let you know what I do with the antenna former, or whatever you would call it, to wind the antenna wire onto. Very interesting that, so I'll scan it and try and make up another one. So it goes with the radio. Anyway, very nice radio, finished up well. Cheers, guys.